Drew, what's happening, brother? How you doing today?
Hey, dude, it's another wonderful, wonderful day. It really is. Yeah, life's good.
Well, you look like you're like a true Wisconsin with that shirt now. Like just a
Uh,
true hanging out in the woods, Wisconsin.
Thank you very much for that. I'll take that as a
Yeah,
compliment. But this is
it
actually
is.
from Colorado. We're heading back. We're actually going to go back to Colorado now, finally. So on the
Finally.
personal side, that's going to complete and we're going to head back to Colorado. And yeah, I'm excited about that.
Nice. That's a definite change in scenery.
But I'm also excited about this next person that we're going to be talking to here, Aaron Cordovez. Yeah. Um, how did you get to know him? How do you even know Aaron?
I know. How does anyone know anything? But I know Aaron through people. This is like there's a community. And I've met people, a lot of them through Million Dollar Seller, through Prosper, through different trade shows. And Aaron is a kind of guy that's easy to get to know. I mean, he is vocal. He is gregarious.
Hmm.
So one day he walked up to me and boom, we were friends. Um, One thing about Aaron, I want to tell the audience here. It's not every day that you actually talk to a seller who's in the top 100 sellers on Amazon. It's not every day. It's not every year that you even meet one of the top 100 sellers. He's right now number 37 in the top 100 on Amazon. And listen to this, people. His brand was started from scratch in 2015, from zero. So I'm extremely excited to pick this dude's brain. Please welcome Aaron Cordovez. So welcome, Aaron.
Hey, how's it going, brother? Good to see you. Good to be in your space on your show. I didn't even know you had a show. I apologize, but you may not even know I had a show, so it's okay. So anyway, we're here.
The internet is a big thing, dude. It's a big thing.
Yeah.
You know, I could be doing stuff over here with tens of thousands. You could be doing something over here, and we don't even know. But what we're doing today is we're going like this.
Yeah.
So that's what's
Yes.
powerful.
Yes.
So I had to have you on this. So just so you know what this series is, just so you know what we're talking about here, is we're talking to successful CEOs of Amazon brands. That's all we are
Nice.
talking to. And it's a 12-part series. You are one of these CEOs, and I couldn't even do this series without you being on. It was that important to me to have you because for a couple of reasons. One, you're smart as hell. Okay. Two, you're a nice guy. You share. You are a sharer. And three, you just hit top 100 brands on Amazon.
Oh, we've actually been top 100 maybe for at least 2 years. So if you go to seller ratings, you can see us. So so our peak is always January. Our peak is January where we have the highest. So like last week we were top 35. Okay. But typically we're around like the 50 to 60 range. But it happens since our stuff is good for like January for people to get fit, and they're like this mixer, right? The frother. It was just on a radio show. This guy is like a former baseball player or something. And he's like, I love my milk frother, changed my life. I could mix my greens in the morning. And so people like they mix their greens and protein powder and whatever. So it's actually used in that maybe as much as it is for foaming milk. And so in January, our sales are very strong in across all of things. Also, our like lemon squeezers, citrus. People want to be healthier, so we have a big spike for holiday November, December, but then also for January. So like again, our ranking spikes in the January, and then it's downhill until the end of the year. So.
Downhill to 50. Okay. What a loser.
Yeah.
So tell us that. Let's start from the humble beginnings, because we know who you are today, and we know probably who you are today is not even going to be recognizable who you're going to be in 10 years, because you're on a vertical. But what's the origin story? Tell us about Aaron getting into Amazon.
I was on a mission to find something to make a little bit extra income. I love this guy. I follow this guy, Justin Welsh, on LinkedIn. And if you're on LinkedIn, follow Justin and follow me. Those are the two top creators, period. And this resonates with me because this was what I did back in 2015. Don't worry about how you're going to make $1 million, right? Like, forget about that. Worry about how you're going to make your first money. Worry about how you're going to make $500. Where you're going to make $100. Because if you learn that and you get that skill, then you can build on it and make it stronger and stronger. I didn't know I would build on it. I didn't know it would grow, but I thought if I could make another $500, maybe if I made it big, like huge, and I made $1,000 a month that I could actually put in my pocket, I could pay for like private school for like my daughter. Like I wouldn't have to throw her into public school where, you know, public school is a disaster. I went to public school, but I don't know how much time I was learning and how much was like just getting around like the, man, okay, let's not get into it, but let's just say that out of everybody around me, like every single person, like the table in our lunchroom, every single person was deeply into some sort of street drug. At least 2 of them were dealing. 2 of them got into like cocaine, heroin, like out of 10 people, man, every single one.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So that's public school. And I'm like, man, I just don't want my daughter in there. Like I got out, like, and I'm all right, but like, I don't know. I just didn't want that. And I thought I just need $1,000 a month, man. That's it. So I'm like I'm trying, and I tried a course, like an affiliate marketer course, what's called No Hat SEO. I don't think I've ever said that name, but like I paid, I don't know, $2,000 for it or something, and I made no money. I mean, I made back $300-400. I spent tons of hours, but I still believe, even though I had a bad course, I still believe somehow I'll make more money somewhere. And I got pitched on an Amazing Selling Machine, right? That's where a lot of people started. And like, I said, look, I'm going to give it another shot. And even though I just put in, you know, $2,000 or $3,000 for this other course, and I made basically no money, it was horrible. And fine, and part of it was execution. Like some people did make money, I assume. I hope. I don't think it was like a messed up course. I think some people made money. But the model was dying. And I said, I'm gonna make $500, maybe 1,000. And that was my goal, right? And it took me, I don't know, maybe a year to get to, I don't even know. I don't know how long the profit, I didn't keep track of profit until like 2 years in. I only kept track of sales. And at some point that was the problem. But eventually I made it. At some point I passed that, $500, $1,000 mark. And that's like a big deal. And then when that's strong and you can do that online, if you can make $1,000 online, you can make $10,000 online, because all you got to do is do the same thing 10 times and then figure out, get a team to this and multiply it. So the cool thing about Amazon is if you could figure out how to make 500, all you got to do is be smart, and you boom, next thing you know, you have whatever 100 people on your staff, and then like you're like, damn.
You're the milkman. You're the milk frother man at this point.
Milk boss. The milk. Yeah.
The milk boss. I love that. That's fascinating. So what was your expertise? What was your day job? Who were you?
So again, I say this again, I really believed in courses. I believed in training because I had tried to go to community college to do programming. I did a lot of volunteering after high school. And when I met my wife and, she wanted to have a kid, and I'm like, man, I'm broke. I make no money. What am I going to do? So I thought, well, let me go learn programming. I think if you do computer programming and make websites, make whatever, code, that's apparently a good way to make money. So I went to community college as you would normally do. It seems like just logical, just like that's what you're told, that you go to college to learn stuff. Right? So I had got a book. I was preparing for college. So I bought this book on programming and I read it and I did a bunch of stuff. I learned a bunch of code and I was deep in that thing for a whole week to get ready for my class. So when I started my class, I'm sorry, but everybody there, well, 80-90% of the people there were totally lost. The teacher was a failed programmer from like 30 years ago who got hired in IBM and like lost her job and like now is working as a teacher. She's confusing the students. The guys are confused. Just from that book and coding for 1 week, I learned more in my book than I did in the entire semester of that class. So I said, this is not the way to do it. I can't sit there for 4 or 5 years just getting dumber. So I dropped the community college, but I knew programming would work. And I had found a course for computer programming, and this place is amazing. It's called App Academy, and it's made by a couple guys. One of them was on the search team at Google. One of the smartest guys I met for coding in ever in my entire life. The guy's like, his mind works like the Matrix, like you see code. Anyway, so he made this company. He's like, we're going to teach people how to code, and we're going to take a percentage of your salary. So they'll take, at that point, it was 18% of your salary. So they're like,
Interesting model.
we're gonna get you a job. On average, people leave here and they get $105,000 salary. No experience. If you get in, average 105, and they'll take 20%. I'm like, okay, I'm happy to give somebody 20 grand. If you get me a job. So I signed up. The acceptance rate was super small. I worked my own way, and that's a whole story. Point is, I got in there, did well. My wife was pregnant. At the end of it, I was hoping I'd get a job. I'd had no job offer. My wife goes into labor. I still have no job offer. I'm like screwed. Like now I have no job. I quit my job to do this class. While she's in labor, I get the job offer. Okay, for over $100,000 when I was making $20 an hour. And I told my wife, I'm like, we're gonna make money. And she's like, I'm in labor. Like, tell me later, what are you talking about? Look, like. So, but that was that. So I ended up going into a company that took a shot with me, and I did well there. I tried so hard because I'm like, man, someone's giving me 100 grand. I need to show up. I need to, do amazing. So that's what I was doing when I started Amazon. I was programming for a company in San Francisco, kind of like a sort of a startup. We did virtual try-on for glasses, like literally putting like you could like push a button and have like glasses on your face and it would look around. Anyway, still. So that's what I was doing. There you go.
This is not related to the necessarily to the video, but like your story really resonates. So first off, I know the App Academy. I know what you're talking about. I checked them out because I was interested in that too. Yeah. I had already had a programming background, so I was like, well, I don't know if I need that. It seems steep, And then, what year were you in San Francisco? What year was this that you were there doing that virtual glass?
So my daughter was born January 2015. So I did the class end of 2014.
Got it. I was in San Francisco with the iPad 1 got released in like 2010, 2011. And I was in San Francisco between 2011 and 2014 doing iPad apps. That's what I was there for. Wow. And yeah, and I quit. I quit for mine's the exact opposite journey, right? I had, my parents paid for my college. I got funded for my MBA, right? And same sentiments, by the way. I mean, the MBA was good. There's smart people in there, and they really were. But I was like, this is not how I'm going to become an entrepreneur, right? Yeah. This is not how it's going to happen. So then I quit. I just quit my job and I moved to San Francisco. No job, nothing. And then I went and found some founders, basically rich people that had an app idea, and I went and started building a business around it. Amazing. And yeah, but anyway, the reason I asked is like that was a big deal, the virtual glass thing. Like you could look into the camera and like see how does this pair of glasses look, and then you could go click and buy.
The company people who did it, they had like a 360% increased chance to buy when they tried on the thing virtually. So it was a good ride. I mean, hey, they paid for my learnings in my initial career.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's a cool story, man. So then you go. So after San Francisco, you're in e-commerce now. Like
yeah. So what happened is at that point I learned quickly in San Francisco, a little over 100 grand will not, totally support a family fully like the way that I wanted. I thought, man, I made 100 grand, like I'm set. And then you got the taxes, the California tax, the thing, the blah, the driving, voila. And then my wife is not working; she's with the kids. So now instead of us both making income, right, it's now just me. And so I thought, okay, I think my first job offer that I got was 120 grand a year. I thought, okay, I don't know how much that can grow, but maybe it will. Maybe I'll grow 5% a year, 10%. I don't know. But then if I could add on that $1 grand a month, $500 a month, I could kind of just grow a little bit faster. No, that's the whole thing, get a little more. So I got sold in the course, and at that time, I could pay for a $5,000 course, and so I paid for it and started off. And our first product, there's a lot of criteria in the course. They kind of hold your hand and have no idea what I was doing. And it's not that the criteria, the way you pick a product, is not that important. The most important thing is starting. Okay, that's the biggest thing you're going to learn from any course. Yes, should you pick a good product? Yes, but even if I know people who have gotten a thing, did a course, got the criteria, and they have 4 products that failed. but they didn't stop. Their 5th product made it, and now they're millionaires, right?
Mm.
Getting into the space is the most important thing. And when you see the power of this machine, $500 billion machine of Amazon, and you see it and you witness the crazy freaking strength that has, making millionaires and billionaires often, okay, you go, I need to master this thing. So you get an introduction. These courses, the biggest thing, they get you introduced, and they give you confidence to say, I'm actually going to pick this product. It fits whatever criteria, and you dive in. Then at that point, it's on you. You can go learn from other people, go on the podcast, go on stuff, and it's your baby. You make it or you don't. You know what I mean? It's like in sports. If you go to play baseball, he's like, oh, I went to blah school to learn whatever baseball, and I'm not that good and make it. You can't blame your school.
Mm-hmm.
You're now in the baseball. Okay, you're now in Amazon. It's up to you to learn from who you're going to learn from. Read the books you're going to read. I read marketing right there on here. End of Marketing as We Know It. It's not on my shelf right this second because I always take it out and using it. That book is amazing. Read marketing books. It's not just Amazon. You got to learn marketing. You got to learn branding. You got to learn copywriting. You got to learn advertising. You got to learn product development. You got to learn importation, duties, tax. Like, you're in a field. You're like, oh, there's so much for me to learn. But if you know the guys who are winning big are not all some massive company that are unbeatable. We have so many products that we sell better, more than, KitchenAid. We sell more than OXO. We sell more than what we have, like more than Instant Pot. So when you see that you have a win against a massive multi-billion-dollar corporation, you realize that it's possible. And that's the only thing you need. You need to be in the game, and you need to know it's possible. And then with those two things, you go hard until you win. And that's how you get big. I mean,
the other thing I heard you say there, Aaron, too, and I thought this resonated with me, right? These courses aren't going to teach you how to be successful, right? They're going to give you a recipe, right? You're going to understand the parts like you're outlining, but they're going to give you the confidence. They're the ignition to get started.
Yeah.
So I have a two-part question.
Go for it.
I want to get into the weeds. So how much money did you start with, not including the course? And how long did it take you to actually start to pay yourself? So that's a two-part question now.
Okay, so first, how much did I start? My first order of lemon squeezers, okay, was about $600. All right, 600 or 900. I forget. I need to find the invoice. Okay.
That's a small order.
It was a small order, dude. I had just spent $4,000 on this course. Okay. Yeah. It was $5,000, but I knew there was a commission. And I told my buddy, I'm like, look, dude, $5,000 is a lot, bro. And you might know about this, but anyway, there was these people would be like, I'll give you $1,000 if you sign up using my link. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, yo, dude. And I told my buddy, I'm like, Jason. Jason. Okay. So anyway, I'm like, yo, I can sign up on this link and get 1,000. Okay. So I don't want to sign up with them. So why don't I just sign up with you? Because you actually sold me, but you got to give me that 1,000. So, he's like, fine, do it, So I paid $4,000 for the course. Okay. So that was the biggest thing. So I'm down $4,000. I can't go put another $10,000. I got a brand new baby on the way. I got California taxes. I got California life. I got this. I'm not going to put down $10,000 on order. So I had no brand, no logo, no nothing. And again, I don't recommend this particular, right? I don't think you should do this right now. It was 300 units. Maybe it was $3 each. I forget. Freight, probably between the photographs, right? A logo. I paid $220 for a logo. I used the guy at the startup, okay? And I told him, hey, can you make a box for me, right? Can you make a box for me? He's like, yeah, absolutely. But I didn't get him to tell me how much, right? And he's getting paid some ridiculous salary at the startup. So in halfway through, I'm like, oh yeah, cool. And I'm like, yeah, you want to send you a deposit or something? He's like, yeah, no problem. And he said the box is like $900 to design. I'm like, $900? What? No. What? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, he already had finished. I'm like, dude, there's no way it's $900. That's crazy. Like, what? Yeah. I was not gonna pay $900, bro. I can go on Fiverr.com and pay $5. He's like, well. Anyway, so in the end, it was like $250, $225, I forget. So the box design was like $200, $300. Okay. The logo, I think I paid a guy. Oh, I found a guy on Facebook somewhere saying he used to do logos or something, and I told him, make me a logo. That was $50. Okay. and he did a couple of revisions for that. So my box design was $225, $250. My logo was $50. The inventory first order was under $1,000, right? It was 300 units at whatever price it was. Freight, I think I air shipped it. Did I air ship? I think so. 300 units. I might as well air ship it. I think freight, sea ship. That's small. You're gonna pay more. Maybe $1 a unit. So all in was around $2,000. Okay. Maybe a little bit less than $2,000.
Okay. And that's just bubble gum and duct tape.
Sorry, like $150 for the photographs. I'm just putting like, what's the number? Like I know
Sure.
I've answered this question, but I never broke it down. I think this might be useful to somebody, right? Like, oh, photographs. There's people who do like, I'll do Amazon photography for $1,500, and there's only like $5. So, photographer. Oh, I paid this lady to do. I remember the photograph right now, Jessica. Okay, and I'm like, hey, let's do this. And the photo shoot, I want to say it was $150 or $200, maybe 300, but it wasn't more than that. And I brought the product to her house. She did the photo shoot right there. She got the little jug. You know, she put the lemons. It was a little photo shoot for the lemon squeezer. And you just be scrappy. So in the end, the whole thing's around $2,000, right? That was my first thing. And we give away, at that time you could give away products for reviews legally. And I was like, damn, every product I get, every product, we used Thomason.com at that time, Thomason.net, whatever it was, that was big at the time. And you basically give away product to an influencer. These influencers have like 10 followers, right? And they're like, I'll do it for free. But I gave away 25 products. So that was, you know, like $4 shipping, rebate, $10 each, maybe another $300-400 on giveaways. So maybe $2,500, let's say. And that was my launch.
Wow. And then from there to actually paying yourself, where you're like, oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And how much did it cost? So that's the first order, but here's what happens. And here's what I love about Amazon, about this model. So I started with 2,500, okay? But once that sells and you're like, oh crap, I'm selling like the first when I got that first sale, that was amazing. amazing. Because, you know, after like a day or half a day or something, they tell you who bought it. So I'm like, okay, that's my cousin. Okay, that's my mom. Okay, that's this. Okay. And like, I think on the 4th day, I'm like, who is this? Like Kevin? Like,
I don't know Kevin.
Kevin from Nebraska? I do not know Kevin. Kevin? I don't know this guy. This is somebody I don't know. Are you? Hey? And then I call like my aunt. Like, did you tell a person in Nebraska about everything? I'm like, this is Whitney. We're gonna make it. Like, this is crazy. So, that started happening, and then, within a week, I think we're selling, I don't know, 6-7 units a day to strangers, man. And that was just wild. I'm like, what? And so now you got to order again. But now my next order, I'm like, I got to order 1,000, right? I'm like, whoa, I need like 1,000 units. So then there, I had to I think I put on like on a credit card, or I took a balance, or I forgot exactly what happened. In the end, I kept putting money in for about a year. And I think I probably put in, between inventory and this, maybe 40 or 50 grand, right? Because if I had to order 10,000 lemon squeezes, I'm like, what the hell? But I'm like, I know for sure it's going to sell. So, okay, I put some more money in. I did not, and then probably after a year, maybe I didn't have to put any more money in. And then I didn't pay myself until 2 years in. Zero. No money out of the company. Zero. Kept buying inventory, buying this, paying for images, paying for ads, paying for blah, new products.
And are you still programming? Are you still doing the day job?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Because I can't cut. See, here's what happens if you quit your job too early. You have no income. Now you have to live off the sales, and you can't invest in the company.
Yeah.
Now you're sucking from the company instead of investing in the company. And so I knew if I had to take out my, at that point I'm getting paid more than 10 grand a month. If I had to take out 10 grand a month, I don't know if there would even be that money. I don't know if that would exist. I didn't even have financials. I didn't have profit tracking. I just knew we were selling stuff and we weren't losing too much money, because like I had more inventory than I had on my credit card.
Yeah, and you had a little money left over. You would see that you had surplus at a certain point.
Yeah, at a certain point, yes, correct. After a year, after I'm putting money in, I go, oh wow, the bank has enough money to pay us apart. I don't have to like put money in for my personal bank.
Exactly.
Right. So that was my P&L. I didn't know anything about profit and loss statement, financials, profit, no tracking, no software. I did nothing, and it almost screwed me sometimes, but a couple times. But the main point was, I told myself, if I keep $100,000 in sales, and this is not the best way to do it because I should do profit and this and cash flow, and I didn't know. I learned so many systems after this. But if I can sell 100 grand a month for at least 3 months straight, that it's going to stay there, I think I'll be able to pay myself 10 grand a month, right? 10% margin. Probably the company is more profitable than that. But if I take 10%, then I won't destroy the company. Then I can focus and do all the stuff. And so when we hit 3 months of 100 grand in sales, that was actually around my birthday in 2017, 2 years after starting, 2 years and change. Then I quit my job, like I think a week before my birthday or on my birthday, or I forgot exactly when it was. And I said, hey guys, and they knew because the guy who did my design box worked with me. A lot of my first reviewers were the guys in the company, so they knew. And I'm like, hey, this thing's taking off. I got to roll, so no hard feelings. And then we went full time, 2 years in.
So that lemon squeezer, that little freaking lemon squeezer. Tell us about that lemon squeezer today. I want to put this into perspective for those people out there who are like, there's no room in the market, or I can't do this. Oh, we lost him. That's what editing's for.
Sorry. I was like, I can't tell you my secrets. I got to run. No, I'm kidding.
It's gonna be edited out. So let's just go ahead and answer that question.
Okay, so here I'm checking and seeing like the sales and this lemon squeezer right now, it's still doing very well. It's about the top 100 item in kitchen, and we sell, I don't know, several hundred units per day still to this day. And right now it's not a peak season, right? We're in January, and this is really a summer. In summer it'll sell better, but it's in the top 150 in kitchen today. It's doing quite well. And
wow.
So what I tell people, look, I think the trends on Amazon are so nice because if you're in e-commerce off of Amazon, okay, you run direct-to-consumer websites, things like that. A lot of people are in this industry. They get a product launch and it has a huge. If it hits, it goes big and they have a big sales at the beginning, and then when they no longer can pay the Facebook ads, it dies. And I know people who sell a lot on Facebook and stuff, and they get interest, people get bored, and it dies. Amazon, you have as long as you defend yourself well, you do well, and it grows. And over time, you get more and more and more and more sales. The top position for search on Lemon Squeezer will be worth 10 times as much in, I don't know, 20 years or whatever. At least 4 times as much, 5 times as much. I don't know. Prediction, I don't know. For sure, will be at least 2 times as much in 10, 15, 20 years. Okay. Yeah. Because population will be higher, more people will be online. It's just that spot is worth more. It's digital real estate. So on Facebook, you don't buy or keep any real estate. You're paying for every person. On Amazon, yes, you pay for people, but you get a spot that sits there. And if you look at Google Trends, you can see people search lemon squeezer about the same for the past 10 years. They're searching and the search is about the same. So if you get that spot and you keep it, you will get more and more and more sales over time. Direct to consumer e-commerce stuff, it doesn't happen. You have to fight for that attention over and over and over. And there's not this like returning customer. So that's why Amazon is so rich and so powerful, is because people go on Amazon when people turn 20, they're 21, 25, whatever, and they have their first house and I need lemon squeezer or I need to replace one or whatever. They're going to search on Amazon more than half. Yeah. Approximately.
And every generation is going to be on there more because they're more online.
Correct. So over time, population, everything goes up, so it's worth more. And so what I'm saying is that it's such a great thing to kind of plant these seeds, because that position that's been paying us. I told I forgot who I told, but like my house, and I don't look at it in like I paid or whatever. I don't know how many, a couple $1 million for the house. That was like $500,000 lemon squeezers. You know what I mean? Like
that's a good way to look at it.
Like that's it. That's how you look at it. So, and that's how powerful it is to plant that seed. If you find something that fits the market and you get that to hit, and you keep innovating, you don't let people take your market share because you find. And I'm not trying to get into a whole like thing here, but you just be smart. You have to, that people are coming after you, right? As you have a success, you have arrows on your back, people are fighting. I've had so much attacks on this thing, not just this product, all of our products, especially the number one bestsellers. We get attacks. We have people undercutting. We have people copying. We have people all that stuff.
Yep.
But that's part of the business. You learn how to fight against those things. But you can't fight against all of them. There will be some products now that we will have less market share later. But we're, at the same time, so far every year we've grown, because even if some products lose market share, we'll get more market share on these products. We'll add these products to have market share. And as long as you have,
you're very diversified too. You're very diversified. You're not putting all your eggs in one squeezer, right?
No. But we do focus. We do make sure that lemon squeeze is good and it stays at the top, right?
Exactly.
So, but if you keep the same market share or higher, or you add different categories, your revenue and profits should go up. Your revenue will go up. Profits, hopefully, if you manage it correctly, because Amazon itself is growing. E-commerce is growing. So you just get in, you plant yourself. And if we somehow stayed the same amount of market share, our sales would still grow because Amazon is growing itself. So I don't know. What I say is that Amazon is great, and you should give it a shot and learn it and become a pro, because
and what do you say to those $1 million sellers that are watching that want to get to the point you're at? What should they be focusing on? Let's say I'm selling $5 million a year on Amazon. I'm making a little bit of profit, but I'm a little nervous about what the future holds. What would you tell them to focus on?
I would say just sell me your company. I'll buy it. I'll say just get out.
At what multiple? At what multiple?
Do it. Just sell it to me. We're buying, and you know this. We're buying companies right next to stuff.
I know. All right. Well, let's say they're not quite ready to sell to.
Okay.
Aaron Cordovez.
And I'll say, okay, good. So we'll here's.
They want to grow it more before they sell it.
I'll tell you one thing that I've seen with a lot of sellers who are in, $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 million range, up to maybe 8 million, whatever. And I think there's two things you got to answer to yourself. Okay. The first thing is, what do you actually want? You know what? Like, what are you looking for? Because sometimes people, what they say and what they do is so far disconnected. It's because they're not being truthful to themselves. Okay. Some people will have reached a point where they have the car they want, they have the house they want, and they have no need for more money. And then they ask, and they say, what do I do to grow my company? And you look, and they're working 2 hours a week. They haven't launched a new product in 2 years. Their listing hasn't changed for a year and a half. They've hired 4 ad agencies and have never trained or learned ads themselves. They never, it's not a mystery, right? In most of these cases, the person is acting as if they don't want to grow, but they're saying they want to grow. That I'll tell you, that is the case for a lot of pieces. So the other part I want to say is, what do you want, right? That's like, just kind of figure it out.
What do you really want?
Exactly. What are you really going for? Because in that case, that's why you should sell the company. If you're done and sell a company, find something else that excites you if you're no longer excited about it, or find out why you're not excited and get excited. That's kind of up to you. And the other aspect is realize there's a lot of false information about business and about success, where people will say, and I heard it 2 weeks ago. They go, oh, wow, the reason you can, take market share is because you're small. I've heard this. This is an idea. Sometimes you have to shed these ideas. Oh, you're small. You're so much better because you're small, so you can do so much stuff. And it's like, no.
Like being small is an advantage, I guess, is what they're thinking.
Yes, because they go well, I could spend more time on my listings and this. And I go, no, dude. I took market share from that guy, not because he's too big. It's because the guy didn't do the work of changing the listing. He could be a huge company, 300 staff, and do the work. He's just not doing the right actions. Being small is not an advantage. And also for your headache, if you believe yourself that having more staff, I don't want to deal with people, you won't get big. Amazon has, I don't know what hundreds of thousands of employees, okay? Their layoff was 40,000 employees. If you decide, I don't want to deal with people, it's too hard for employees, you will not be growing if you want to grow. So first you have to figure out if you want to grow. The second one, if you do want to, you have to understand that it's gonna be staff. There will be taxes. There will be lawsuits. There will be disgruntled. That stuff is gonna happen. But how are you gonna build on it that it won't be a problem for you? You have the right HR, you have the right legal, you've done all the right actions. The fact of getting big is not what's going to give you headaches. It's the fact of doing it the wrong way, of having your advertising team and your promotions never checked by any legal person, okay? By never doing your tests of your product to make sure they have all the good stuff, by not doing your patent research, there's things that will mess you up. And you got to get those in place and under control so that when you get big, you don't feel those problems. In fact, now I have more flexibility with my schedule and I have a way bigger company because in my own opinion, I haven't done it perfect, but I'm not working 100 hours a week to get, I don't know, an extra whatever 5% growth.
Sure.
I've instead invested in the people and the processes, and I knew that it could be done. So first point, if you really want to do it, and the way to know if you want to do it is understand, what happens if I have 100 employees? Oh my gosh, if you just get that idea and you're like, oh, I can't deal with it, dude, you're not going to work toward it. You're not going to figure.
You're not going to get there. Yeah.
You're not going to get there. So the biggest issue is mostly that people are conflicted. I don't want to be the 1%. The rich people are horrible. These ideas that you've heard in your life, if you haven't come to peace with them and don't know, I will be donating money. I will be making a difference. I will be giving people a good job. I will be different than the things I've seen on the news.
Yeah.
And then do it in a way that gives you more freedom. Oh no, another thing people tell themselves like, oh no, if I was that big, I would be tied to my job and this. No, I have fun doing my job. No, I am privileged. I get to work because I like it. And guess what? When it's bigger, I have a goal. I want to donate some amount of money. I want to impact this. I want to come on the podcast and make people be entrepreneurial and have people have less economic strangulation and suppression of themselves because the government's telling you, I'm going to fix your economic problems. No, I want to lift people up. So if you have a vision of where you're going to go, and then you get rid of the things that keep you from wanting it, I think you can find out how to do it. So again, tactical things, that's fun. We can go into that. There's promotions, there's sourcing. I got a podcast. You have there's a lot of those things out there. But I find that most people, if they're not growing at all, they either have some person or some toxic thing in their company or in their life that is not letting them want to get bigger for real. Someone telling them, oh no, you're going to get rich and then you're not going to be my friend. I don't know. So there's like that, or they've not really committed or not wanted it. They have no reason to. You have your car, you have your house, you have everything paid for. You bought your mama a car, you bought your mama a house. You're making $6 million a year in sales. I don't know. You're taking home $1.5 million. Dude, you can't go on the same thing of not like me. I changed my goal from, hey, I want to pay for my kids' private school to, hey, I want to change the entire education system so kids can grow up better. At that point, you're like, damn, I need $100 million, right? I don't need I don't need longer $1,000 a month.
I have to touch on this. I have to interrupt you because what you said is really important and it ties into two things. You at one point were like, I just need $500. I just need $1,000. I just need to pay for my daughter's school so she's not in public school with a bunch of drug addicts like you were. How did you get from that guy to I want to change the public school system? I want to get to $1 billion a year or whatever your current. How did you stretch your mindset over the last? By the way, 2015 was only 8 years ago.
It's true. It's true.
You're a totally different person in a lot of ways,
I agree.
mindset-wise, than you were 8 years ago.
So there's a lot of people, and I want to say me included, right? You're looking for like one, and I still want these. I want the one nugget. I want the one thing, but realize life is not that simple. If you want to solve a big problem like yourself, the way you're going to solve yourself, you gotta take it at many angles. You have to, I don't know, like Yes, you should do goal setting with your family. Yes, you should do self-improvement. Yes, you should read books. Yes, you should expand your mind. Yeah, and then you should also take wins in business and then do experiments, meaning, okay, I'm gonna go put some money over here. I like that. And then you get a win, you go like, man, if I like and you have personal stories. So you make your own decisions. You make yourself, man. You decide who you're gonna be every day. So if you like my buddy, who I played World of Warcraft with, my super close buddy from high school, okay, Giovanni, and I talk about this often because it's part of why I'm driven. Yeah, the druggies in school and this, but there's worse things, okay? So my buddy, I left Miami and talked to him. He ended up being on 9 different medications, okay? SSRIs, anti-anxiety, antidepressants, all that stuff. 9 different ones, okay? And then he was way worse, getting crazier, okay? And his mom went to see a psychiatrist with him. And they told her the only thing that helps it these days is electric shock. If you get electric shock, that's the only thing that can help your son. And they go like, what are you talking about, electric shock? That's like from the 50s or 20s. I'm like, forget about that. So after 6 more months, the mom gets convinced. Another couple months go by, he gets convinced, Giovanni. So he goes, they go to the hospital. The hospital's called Southern Wind Hospital, okay, in Miami, Fort Lauderdale area, somewhere around there. I forget the address, okay. And they go in, and he signs the paperwork, okay? And, okay, fine, let me give it a shot. So he walks into the room, all right? He sees the bed with these humongous straps and a couple of buff dudes there to hold them down. And he goes like, yo, I don't want this. So he goes, never mind, I'm done. But problem was he already signed the papers. So they close the door on his ass, and they force him in the table, and they keep him there at that place for a week. More than a week, shocking his ass every day, collecting from insurance.
Mm.
The guy calls me. That was a horrible. I don't want to get too crazy into this, right? I just know it was the worst thing that happened to this guy. The whole journey it's just evil. You have to understand that evil, and it's powered by money. Okay. 2 weeks later, he shot himself in the head. Okay. Giovanni's gone. Fucking close buddy, man. And you realize that is done with money. That is done with lobbying. That is done with people that can have an influence. And as you're making money, you go, what am I going to do with this? And you know that you can lobby too and get this craziness to stop because it's all money based. But you can't fight an evil rich person with a poor good person. You can't. You're going to lose that game. So for me, I just look around. I go, I need to do more. I can do more, so I will do more. And so the journey is, if you can make a small difference, you can make a bigger difference. And so anyway, I don't know if that answers your question exactly, but the point is, you look around, you see things that you want to improve. Guess what? If you throw I gave over $1 million last year into charity, okay, to stop this craziness.
Wow.
If you can give 10,000, and you're like, wow, I can save 10 kids from this or whatever, and you can grow that. You know, I don't know. I almost feel an obligation because I didn't help him. I didn't help Giovanni. He's gone.
Sure.
But I'm not going to let these guys fuck up our future generations. So anyway, look. Point is, if you when you get more wins and you get more things and you get more money, you can decide what are you going to do with it. And
that's the key.
Am I? I could just be like, yo, I'm done. Sell my company. Sit around. I have enough money for the rest of my life for me and my family. But that's not my game anymore. Okay. I've been put here. The guys from App Academy, they taught me. Okay. My parents, they taught me. The guys who got me into Amazon, they taught me. Like, I've been helped so much in my life. I owe it. I don't know, to society, to these people, to somebody, to make a difference, dude. Because I'm not gonna be happy just sitting on the beach for the rest of my life, dude. I'm gonna get old, right? So
yeah,
I have fun making wins and then making a difference. Like that's me. But you have to decide: will you do anything more with $1 more million? And they go, okay, I'm gonna buy 2 more Rolls Royces. I don't really want 2 more Rolls Royces. If that's all you're doing with your money, you probably won't grow your company because you don't care to have another $1 million.
There's no motivation. There's no drive.
At that point, maybe you do it just for the game. Hey, I want to be top 10, and you play like a video game. That's another way to do it. I know some people who do that. No charity, no nothing, but they're driving. Why? They're like, I want to beat this guy. That's fine too, right?
Yeah.
But if you're not playing it like a video game just because you want to rank, you want to hit those numbers, you want to be a billionaire for money, okay, just to have the money, that's fine. If that's your motivation, perfect. But find your motivation. It's either going to be money, it's going to be a game, it's to prove your dad wrong because the guy was not good to you or something, or maybe make your parents proud, maybe make a difference to charities, whatever your route is. But if you have no reason to get to a company that does 100 million, dude, you are not going to get up and do it because you have no more physical necessity for yourself, because you can take, with $10 million company, $5 million company, you can take care of your own bills. Okay. So you're not going to grow your company to like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm never going to be able to pay my bills. It's too small. The game has to be bigger. So it could be, hey, I want to be as rich as Elon Musk because I just want to. That's fine. If it's, I want to give to charity, that's fine. Hey, I want to be proud. Hey, I want to go and give 20 Rolls Royces to little kids, whatever. That's fine. Whatever. But you have to have a reason that is good for you, that you feel like is good. And then at that point, good, start reading marketing books. Start reading this. Talk to people who do D2C. Talk to people who do other channels. Talk to people who are at 100 million plus. What did they do? How do they pick products? Okay, go to China. Okay, go to different places. Visit labs. Figure out extra margin by making your own 3PL. Figure out about hiring so you can have your own team to do stuff instead of outsourcing. I mean, there's so many, like, again, I can just spit out like 10 different ways that you can grow your company. But none of those things will be either appealing, or you'll know how to do it, or you'll be driven enough to learn how to do it and do it if you don't have an actual reason to grow your company another 2x, 5x, 10x. Because what's having $2 million profit and $10 million profit do for the individual, for his own family and his own life? Okay, if you really want a yacht, that's fine. Well, but that's fine. If you have $100 million yacht that you want to buy, and it's like driving like crazy, that's fantastic. But guess what? A lot of people who are at 3 million and not moving, they don't want $100 million yacht. They're not giving to charity. They're not, and they're just chilling.
Mm-hmm.
They're chilling.
This reminds me. So Aaron, we just talked with another CEO, and they're saying the same thing you are, right? You're definitely a different person. Like, you're very value driven. Like, it's very clear to me from the very beginning. You've got to support your family, value driven. Now you've achieved this success. How do I give back? Very value driven. And I see similarities between those two things. That's cool. But getting there, right? How do you continue to have an appetite? How do you continue to have a hunger? And the phrase of this other, it was like, how do you continue to have necessity, right? This concept of necessity, that I need to keep doing it. And, maybe that's not the best choice for everybody who's like listening in here, but the idea is like, you've got to generate something that's going to be motivating to you and to continue to move on to that next level. And whatever satisfied is, there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. But the idea that, like, if you do have this vision of yourself, or you identify with, this future self of yours, you're not just going to get there, get satisfied. You got to keep going. You got to find a way to get more necessity. You got to find a way to, like, get more motivated.
So the question is, like, how? Is that?
I didn't really ask a question. I was just honestly just kind of relating to the conversation.
It was like a recap.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the case, man. You find whatever drives you. It doesn't have to be giving back. It could be selfish. If you're like, dude, I just want my own plane just to drive off and like show my ex-girlfriend from high school that dumped me that I have a freaking private jet. Dude, that's cool. Like, you could do that, right? Or you could just be like, I want to make the coolest, most badass phones in the world because I want people to have cool phones. That's another way. Your company has a purpose. So you could.
The key thing is your own. But the key thing is the person running it has to have it be driven.
What difference is it going to make? What difference is it going to make if you succeed or not? If there's no difference, if you're pawning off the same exact computer case, phone case to everybody, they all look the same. your company has no purpose, then you have no purpose. So for us too, our company has a purpose. So again, we go with the slogan Kitchen Happiness, right? Again, we have several companies, right? I'm talking about Zulay Kitchen here. So Kitchen Happiness. So I want to give back to mothers everywhere. I want to give them good value. We answer the phone. We give people refunds. We will take care of you. I want a person who doesn't have a lot of money, when they go and they buy this lemon squeeze, if something happens for 3 years down the line, they go and call us and we go, no problem, here you go. And we ship them or replace them. We say, have a fantastic day and here's a bonus. And that mom is going to feel happy that day. Instead of being like, I couldn't call them this, it broke that. Sure. I want to create happiness in my customers. I want them to be happy. We created a new line called the Magia. We call it Magia because it's magic. It's a freaking espresso machine, bro. And you go like, I want a cappuccino. And that thing frosts, it does it. Boom, it's done. And I will tell you.
I got to check that out.
That thing is amazing. And it's at a price point where not only the rich ass people are going to buy it. It's not a $3,000 Breville, okay? It's $800, okay? And you can have your own coffee and save your trip to Starbucks. If you push a button, that thing's done for you. It's fantastic. I want people to have more convenience. I want them to be happy. I want them to not have frustrations in their shopping online. So the company has a purpose itself. I want to provide all of it, right? We got this frother right here. This is like, it's called the executive froth. This thing comes out in a velvet thing. It has like a sleek black stand. We invented this. This is our own patent of the stand. This thing is beautiful. And I know that someone gets this as a gift, they're like, damn, I always wanted to look for it. Right? It's going to bring people some happiness. So your company has to have a purpose, and then the profits from that company also have to have a purpose. And if you put those together, I think you're in a good spot, right? I think you're in a good thing. So find out what your company's doing, because if your company's not doing anything and it's only for the money, that could happen too, right? I mean, if you're selling masks, right? A guy in COVID, they sold whatever bajillion masks. Either they go, hey, I'm really protecting people from COVID or something, and they feel that purpose, something, or they're like, I just want money. But like, if you didn't believe in COVID and you're selling masks, you're gonna be unmotivated real quick. You get what I'm saying? Exactly. Like, you're like, yo, this is a waste of my life, right? So if you don't align with your business itself, right? If I was selling, dude, I don't know, it's fine. Forget about it.
Well, so obviously, Aaron, I'm not gonna have you sell. Obviously, Aaron, I'm not going to have you sell electroshock machines because I just don't think you would be a good salesman.
That's too soon, man. Too soon.
Are like 16 grand. Those machines are like 16 grand. Actually, one of the last manufacturers that just went out of business recently. Because, that guy has to hate himself, man. Or he has to read some of these fake stuff that, so he publishes a paper. Like, people just have to be evil to do that. Or either you're actually like a person who wants people to be hurt, or someone who doesn't care and really wants to hurt people has convinced you that it's not hurtful. So either way, that's like a bad thing. And companies like that do exist, right? So if you yourself, you don't believe in your company and you think what you're doing is hurtful, of course you're not going to grow, right? Yeah. I mean, because...
Hey,
well,
Ian,
I think that's a great place to end it.
Say, Aaron, this would be great. So don't get me wrong. I do have a hard stop though. I got to stop at the 30 minutes. All good. Man, great. I really enjoyed this discussion. Just hearing your story and stuff. And it's funny as we're talking to these CEOs, there's these themes that are coming up. Ian and I were talking about before you joined, and they're all clearly similar categories, very different variations and nuances inside each of them. But like these journeys are all the same. And the thing to me that I think is most interesting is that people start small. They have really significant challenges when they begin that are nothing now, right? That on the success, when they get to this quote unquote successful side, those challenges are nothing. They're like, that was not a big deal. But the fear, the uncertainty, the doubt, right? The lack of know-how, do I have the capabilities? I don't, like you mentioned, the logistics and marketing and, I've got to be able to do product design and packaging design, and I got to be able to get reviews and do customer support. It's like, fuck, I can't do all of that. There's no way, but you can.
Correct.
You can. And you did.
Little by little.
And look at you now.
And then,
thank you so much, Aaron, for joining us. And this was much more spiritual than I expected. And you know what? We needed that today.
Sweet.
And we're gonna do another call, and then and we're gonna go into the weeds of Amazon. I think we deserve people some technical.
Absolutely.
So we'll do that.
I just a little bit this year. I kind of dedicated myself to like going out there more and talking more. So absolutely, I'll come back on. We'll talk. We'll do like a specific one with questions.
Awesome.
Talk about it. No problem.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it.